welcome back to Daily AMG. Long time no see. It has actually been 4 months since I posted a video, and it was actually 4 months prior to that since I had posted a video. So cheers to being back, and let's hope that it's not another 4 months before you see me after this. So welcome to my Spookathon reading wrap up. So I read 5 books in the week of Spookathon. I actually read a book a day. No, because it was a 7-day. Was it a 7-day? Anyways, yes. I read 5 books in 7 days, and I'm just so thrilled because I picked up books that I thoroughly enjoyed. Obviously, because I devoured them in 7 days. So let's just get into what I read and keep this short and sweet. And yeah, hi, welcome back. Okay, so these are the books that I read in, I keep wanting to say the month of October, but it was just the week of Spookathon. This is my Spookathon wrap up. Hi, welcome. The first book that I read was Scythe, I think is how you actually say it. Scythe by Neal Shusterman. This is my first Neal Shusterman, and oh my gosh, I completely understand the hype. I'm currently reading Thunderhead, which is the second in this series, and the third comes out in November, I believe, so perfect timing for me to pick up this series. This is a YA trilogy, and it is actually a utopian situation. So you have a time frame like 20 years in the future, honestly, from where we are now, where everything has been cured. There's no longer death, disease, famine, etc. There are now scythes that glean you. So basically, when your number is drawn, it's your time to die. And since there is now no more just, you know, natural death, there is now scythes that determine your fate for you. And so this book number 1 follows 2 teenagers who are apprenticing to become scythes. And it's outstanding. It's just so many twists and turns, but I don't want to give a lot away because it's definitely one of those, like, I've never read anything like it, and I actually think that that was the prompt or the challenge, was to read a book in another genre or format or etc. Basically, that's unlike anything I've ever read, so I just put it down for that. Next up, I read In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I believe now I only have 1 Ruth Ware to read, and Ruth Ware is such an enigma to me because she is cranking out these books, and yet every Ruth Ware is different, and so I really enjoyed this. Like, I do feel like this is a lot like The Woman in Cabin 10, where at the end of it, or anytime I see it, I go, that's Ruth Ware? Like, I don't know what I have associated with Ruth Ware, but it's not these, like, campy, I don't know. I don't know what the word is. I just really love this vibe. And the vibe of this and the vibe of Woman in Cabin 10 aren't similar to her other works, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Basically, In a Dark, Dark Wood is about a bachelorette party gone wrong. It literally says someone is getting married, someone is getting murdered. And that's exactly what happens. And it is very Agatha Christie, very mix-matched group of folks go to a secluded house in the woods, and there's lots of alcohol and past lives that are exposed and secrets that are exposed, and then someone ends up murdered, and then here we are, folks. So I gave this 4 stars. I guess I should probably tell you, I gave Scythe 5 stars. I gave In a Dark, Dark Wood 4 stars. And then, oh my gosh, probably one of the best books that I have read in a very long time, as far as just a complete and utter formatting that is just unlike anything in the mystery thriller realm that I've ever read. And that is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn, Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This takes place in a manor, and you have a gentleman who is attempting to solve / stop a murder from happening, and every day he wakes up in a different guest of this party's body. Oh my gosh. So it's like Clue, but then like Looper and like Groundhog Day. It's just all the good stuff rolled into one. I absolutely love this book. I gave this 4.5 stars. I think for the formatting and just the way in which this was written, I wanted the reveals to just be slightly escalated than what they were. So that's just more my reading style. I guess I just wanted a more elaborate ending, I guess, which only deducted a 0.5 star. But I just kind of finished it and was like, for all of that, I wanted just a hint more, just a smidge more. But yes, this is absolutely outstanding. If you're seeing this everywhere, it's for good reason. Also, if you're participating in Buzzwordathon, numbers are the next round in November, so definitely one to pick up. I would highly recommend you do. Then I read, oh, you know what? I think I read this. Oh, this was for a spooky word in the title, which I just did for death. And then this was read a thriller. I'm gonna remember these prompts. Oh, what was the prompt for this? Oh, I think a spooky setting, because I figured witches. It was a stretch, obviously. So, The Rules of Magic by who? I don't know. By Alice Hoffman. This is the like prequel to Practical Magic. This follows the ants and their story in 1960s New York City. Obviously, if you know me, that's everything I love in life. So this was, for as much as, okay, hang on. Let me just get real with y'all. For as much as Alice Hoffman writes, which is a lot, this is only the second book I've ever read from her. The first, of course, being Practical Magic. I have given both of her books 3 stars because when you are writing about witches, I want your writing to be like lyrical and atmospheric. And even though it's like, for me, it just doesn't quite meet the mark. For as promising as this was for my taste, I was let down. I'm thinking you have a premise that I love witchy stuff. You have a setting in which I'm obsessed with. And so I just figured those two things together, it would be just my dream book. It just didn't quite get there for me. I truly enjoyed it. I would probably reread it. It just, I hyped it up too much in my head. Don't you hate when you do that? Okay, and then the last book that I read is on my journey of reading everything Neil Gaiman has ever written ever, because he is the most brilliant, incredible, hilarious, crafty author of life. That is Good Omens by both Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett, which you probably know Terry Pratchett if you are a sci-fi reader. Both extraordinarily talented writers, massive fan bases for the reasoning of incredible authors. And this follows, oh my gosh, this was so hysterical. So this follows an angel and a demon as they try to, as they like follow the just so, I mean, like, if you've never read Neil Gaiman or if you've never heard of this, it's gonna sound really strange, but it is so funny. You're following the Antichrist being born and put into the care of the wrong people. So then you have an angel and a demon watching this child grow up and trying to like influence it in both of their ways. It's so funny. I cannot wait to watch the Amazon show. It's going to be hysterical. And yeah, I loved it. It was so funny. I gave this 4.5 stars. I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. And yeah, it totally holds up because I think this was written in like the early 90s. And it's so funny. It's so good. So yeah. There you have it, folks. Let me turn these around properly. Oh, and this one was for red on the cover because like the blurbs in his wine are in red. Basically, I really wanted to get to this book, and that's how I made that happen, was by just saying, oh, you know, this has red on the cover, and that's a prompt, so there we go. So these are the 5 books that I read for the Spookathon readathon. Like I said, the next readathon that I'm going to participate in is Buzzwordathon, and this round, which I think is like round 5 or 6, the buzzwords are numbers. So if there's numbers and any kind of formatting in the title, then that's a book to put on your TBR. So I hope to do, let's cross our fingers here, folks. That's not another 4 months before you see me. I hope to do a October wrap up. I hope to do a buzzword TBR, and then I hope to do a Buzzwordathon wrap up. I don't think I'll vlog. I always start out trying to vlog. It doesn't really work out so hot for me because I just do this stuff from my phone, and you know, I definitely did far more interactions with Spookathon on my Instagram, and oh my gosh, I made some new friends. I found some new people to follow, and I am like in the booktube, bookstagram community, and I'm so glad that I ended up doing all of that over on my stories on Instagram. I just feel like I have more exposure there anyway. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and you still have like 5 days of October left, so pick up one of these books if you need a spooky read that's not really spooky, because I don't really read spooky stuff. But then again, I did read it recently. Well, you know, that'll be another video for another day. Bye, y'all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.